Welcome to Book Reviews with Rachel Saylor, your host here. That's me, Rachel Saylor. So today on the book review, I'm going to be reviewing The Road by the brilliant, the genius Cormac McCarthy. And yes, I just wanted to point out that this is indeed a library book, and I love this book, and truly I should own a copy, but currently I've just really gotten into the library books, so that's what we're going with today. So The Road is a book about a man and his boy and this post-apocalyptic world that they find themselves in, and just how it's ash-stricken, and it's all about survival, really, and this bond between this man and this boy. And so I just think that, in general, Cormac McCarthy is an incredible writer, and that The Road is such a great book because I think anybody who hasn't read him before should definitely pick up this book because it's so easy to digest and it's easy to read through really fast, and really get a taste of what kind of writer he is. And the way that he paints pictures and the imagery that he uses is so incredible and so genius. I really don't know how his mind must work in order to get the things that he pulls out and describes. And so I just love that about this book. It'll also make you question your own vocabulary, and you should probably have a dictionary handy while you're reading it, just a thought. But again, that's just McCarthy for you because he's brilliant. And I actually wanted to read just a little piece of it. And this is, don't worry, this is out of the first 8 pages, this little chunk, so I'm not going to give anything away, but I feel like it kind of conveys the mood and the way that the story is told just in this small little chunk. At the top of the hill they stood in the cold and the wind, getting their breath. He looked at the boy. "I'm all right," the boy said. The man put his hand on his shoulder and nodded toward the open country below them. He got the binoculars out of the cart and stood in the road and glassed the plain down there where the shape of a city stood in the grayness, like a charcoal drawing sketched across the waste. Nothing to see. No smoke. "Can I see?" the boy said. "Yes, of course you can." The boy leaned on the cart and adjusted the wheel. "What do you see?" the man said. "Nothing." He lowered the glasses. "It's raining." "Yes," the man said. "I know." So, I think that portion, that little snippet really of this book kind of shows just the tempo, and it's, I think it's a book to be read slow, and you need to take your time to really appreciate all of the words that McCarthy's written and the way that he's written it, and it just calls for that kind of reading. And although it's slow, there are things that are still happening that brings a suspense into it, and so it doesn't feel like an agonizing slow book by any means. But I just think it kind of paints this reality for them in this really small snippet of just how dire their situation is, and they just know what's going on, and it's just not a whole lot. And yeah, so I think if you decide to read this, you'll really enjoy it. If you are agitated or wary about suspense at all, then yes, reading this during the day would probably be a good idea for you. But I think it does balance really well this suspenseful side of things, but also this really slow, beautiful character building, beautiful love between this father and the son. And I think it's also really interesting how the father has lived in a world post-apocalyptic, and so he seems a little more jaded because he knows what the world used to be like and how it used to be good. And the boy, this is his entire reality. And so, but his love is so pure, the boy's love is, and his father's love is just so focused on the boy because he does everything for that boy and sacrifices for him. And so there's this dilemma of what's good and what's bad, and maybe there really isn't one true good and one true bad, but sometimes there's just this in between. So anyways, you should read The Road. It's an incredible book, And I think after you read it, you're going to want to read more McCarthy. It's good. Can I read it? I think I'm going to read it again, actually. Like, right now. Because it's that good.